Welcome back to the darkness between stories. Tonight, we invite you once again into the haunted corners of old Japan. These are not just tales. They are memories, echoes of things forgotten or things that refuse to be forgotten. So find a quiet place, close your eyes, and listen closely, because once the shadows begin to move, you might not be alone. Episode 1: The Shadow Under the Tatami. In Japan, old houses. They breathe. The wood expands with heat. The walls moan in the cold. And sometimes, if you sit still long enough, you'll hear them whisper. This is a story about a house like that. A house with secrets beneath its floor. A house that watches and waits. Haruki and Mika were newlyweds in their 30s. Tired of Tokyo, tired of tiny apartments, tired of noise. They wanted something simple, traditional, peaceful, and so they moved to a countryside town in Nagano, a place where trains passed only twice a day, where people still left their doors unlocked, where the air smelled of soil and cedar. The house was beautiful in a faded kind of way. Wooden beams, shoji screens, a small garden filled with moss and dragonflies. And at the back, a room with untouched tatami mats. The landlord told them, "Don't remove those mats. They're original, very old. Just let them be." Haruki nodded. He didn't care about tatami. But he should have. The days were quiet. Haruki worked remotely. Mika painted. They cooked rice on a charcoal stove. They laughed when the roof leaked during rain. And at night, the house creaked. They told themselves it was just the wood. Just the wind. But some sounds weren't like that. Sometimes, they heard footsteps in the back room. Soft, slow, as if someone was crawling beneath the floor. One morning, Mika noticed the tatami lifting slightly at the corner. Like something had shifted underneath. She pressed it down. It was warm, not from sunlight, but like something alive. She didn't tell Haruki. That night, she had a dream of a room without a ceiling. Of someone lying beneath her, whispering her name. 2 weeks later, while Mika was out shopping, Haruki decided to clean the back room. He vacuumed, wiped the windows, then curiosity. He peeled back a single corner of the tatami, just to check, and beneath it, an eye, large, pale, bloodshot, staring up at him, unblinking. He screamed, jumped back, but when he looked again, it was gone. Just dirt. Cold, dry earth. They called the police. Officers arrived, pulled up the mats, dug beneath the boards. They found nothing. No bones, no tunnel, no evidence of anything unusual. One officer shrugged. Old houses. They play tricks sometimes. Another whispered. The last tenant also saw something. His wife went missing, you know. Haruki and Mika moved their futon to the front room that night. But it was already too late. The following nights grew stranger. Mika started sleepwalking, each time toward the back room. Once, Haruki found her kneeling on the tatami, hands pressed against the floor, whispering, "It's so cold, so lonely." He shook her awake. She screamed, said she'd been dreaming of a girl. Trapped, buried alive. One rainy morning, Haruki woke up alone. Mika was gone, her shoes still at the door. Phone on the table. He searched every room. He even ran to the neighbors. Nothing. He returned to the house. To the back room. The tatami looked slightly raised again. With shaking hands, he lifted it. Beneath, a hand. Pale. Familiar. Reaching up, he blinked. It was gone. Only dirt remained. That was 3 years ago. Haruki still lives in that house. Alone. People ask why he stays. He just says, "I'm waiting." Every night, he lies on the tatami, ear pressed to the floor. He listens. To breathing. To whispers. To Mika's voice. Calling him deeper. They say the house is cursed. That beneath its floors, something waits. Not a ghost, but a memory. One that wants to be shared. Lived. And never forgotten. Next time you visit an old Japanese house, don't ignore the tatami. It remembers everyone who lies above it. And someday, it may invite you. Below. Episode 2: The Woman Who Walks Backwards. There's a small fishing village on the coast of northern Japan. A place the modern world forgot. Where wooden boats still line the shore. And old women sell dried squid from their porches. Life here is slow, predictable, peaceful on the surface. But there's a rule the villagers never break. When you walk the streets at night, you never ever follow someone walking backwards. The elders speak in hushed voices of a woman. She appears just before dawn. Dressed in white. Barefoot. Hair dragging across the ground behind her. She never speaks. She never turns. She walks backwards, step by step, as if retracing her life. They say she's searching for something she lost. Or someone. No one knows for sure. Because anyone who's followed her hasn't come back. Kenta was 16. Bored. Restless. Born in the village but already dreaming of Tokyo. He laughed at the old stories. Ghost women? Backwards walking? To him, it was just small town fear. He liked sneaking out at night. Walking the beach alone. Daring the spirits to show themselves. If she's real, he said one night, I'll follow her. Maybe she'll lead me to something interesting. He didn't know how right he was. It happened on the second Tuesday of the month. The sea was quiet. The sky clouded. Even the dogs weren't barking. At 341 a.m., Kenta saw her. A woman, long white kimono, head slightly tilted, walking backwards down the stone path near the shrine. Her feet never made a sound. Her hands hung loosely by her sides. She moved slowly, as if floating through time. Kenta froze. He watched her move away, one step at a time. And then, he followed. Not quickly, not loudly, just enough to stay behind her. She didn't turn, but her pace adjusted, as if she knew. The stone path led down to the cliffs. The air grew cold. Mist curled around his feet. Still she walked. Backwards. Never stumbling. Kenta's heart beat faster. He was sweating. But he couldn't stop. The sea grew louder. Angrier. And then, she paused. She raised one hand. Not to wave. Not to point. Just held it up. Her fingers trembled slightly. Then she resumed walking. But her feet no longer touched the ground. Kenta followed her all the way to the cliff's edge. Waves roared below. The drop was steep. Fatal. She stood still. Kenta reached out, hesitating. "Who are you?" he asked. She didn't answer. But slowly, so slowly, she turned her head. Only her head. Eyes black. Mouth stitched shut. Cheeks torn open. She smiled. And stepped off the cliff. The next morning, Kenta was gone. His shoes were found on the path. His phone left recording. The last image? The sea. And faintly, a white kimono disappearing beneath the waves. No body was found. But now, the villagers say something has changed. Some nights, there are two figures walking backward. A woman and a boy. The same slow steps. The same silence. They trace the same path. Over and over. Never speaking. Never facing forward. If you visit that village, don't go out at night. And if you do, don't follow anyone walking backwards. Even if they look familiar. Even if they whisper your name. Even if they stop and wait for you. Because once you step onto that path, you become part of it. And your only way forward is to walk backward
Her şeyden bir
forever.
haber.
Some stories end with a lesson. Some don't end at all. Tonight, you've heard echoes from deep within the folds of Japan's forgotten roads. Silent forests and sleeping villages. Remember them, but do not seek them. Because once you start looking into the dark might start looking back. Until next time, sleep lightly, and don't forget to check under the tatami.